is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? And today I am here with my just a little bit too early All-Star picks for the 2020 All-Star game. So yeah, I'm going to be giving you guys my Eastern Conference starters, bench, Western Conference starters, reserves for the All-Star game. Now, this is who I think deserves it at this current moment. I'm going to make another one of these like a week before the picks come out. So a lot is going to change between now and then. Either it's injury, performance-wise, or a team's record. So yeah, these are just my personal opinions. If we can get maybe 800 likes on this video, I'd really appreciate that. And let me know your All-Star starters in the comments below. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into this. Now, we're going to start with the Western Conference starters. Now, for the point guard position, I'm going to have a player that has yet to make an All-Star game, and he's 20 years old, and that is Luka Doncic. Now, yep, Luka Doncic is a small forward, and I'm going to have him starting in the All-Star game, but he 1000% deserves to. A lot of people thought the Mavericks were going to be a fringe playoff team to start the year, but currently 16 games into the season, the Mavericks are 11-5, and it's mainly because of Luka Doncic. Luka is averaging 30.5 points a night, 10 rebounds, and 9.8 assists. He's 0.2 assists away from averaging a 30-point triple-double in his first 16 games. That is insane. He's shooting 35% from 3 on 9.5 attempts a night. He has a 49% assist percentage, and if you know what that stat means, that is absolutely insane. He's leading the league in win shares per 48, offensive box plus minus overall, and wins above replacement. And oh yeah, he's only 20 years old. So yeah, this was an easy pick. He's playing 77% of his minutes at the point guard position, so I have him at the starting point guard spot of the Western Conference All-Star team. Now, just like Luka, the player I have at the shooting guard position is also an early MVP candidate, and that is James Harden. This was an easy pick. If you like him or not, if you love him or hate him, this is an obvious pick at the shooting guard spot as a Western Conference starter. James Harden is averaging 38 points a night. That alone should have him as a starter. Also, 8 assists, 6 rebounds with a positive effective field goal percentage and true shooting percentage. Yes, he is taking 24 shots a night, and he's taking 14 free throws a night. Now, you might hate that style of play, but you can't disacknowledge what he's done so far this year. The Rockets are 11-6, and it's a lot to do because of James Harden. I think he's the obvious pick for the All-Star starting shooting guard spot for the Western Conference. Moving over to the small forward position, I have probably the oldest player in this video, and that is Lebron James. The 34-year-old he doesn't age. He doesn't age. He's still playing like he's 26 years old and in his prime. He's averaging a career high 11 assists per game, which leads the NBA. He's peaking as a passer in his year 17. It's absolutely insane what LeBron is doing. He's also averaging 25.5 points a night, 7.5 rebounds, and shooting 35% from 3 on 6 attempts a night. Like Luka, like Harden, he's a fan favorite. He will obviously be the All-Star starting small forward, even if he gets hurt probably from now to the All-Star game. So coming in at the power forward position is actually LeBron James' teammate, and that is Anthony Davis. AD is averaging an NBA high 2.9 blocks a game as I'm recording this on November 26th. 25 points a night, 9 rebounds. The Lakers have the best record in the league at 15-2. 2 All-Star starters from the same team is definitely deserved because of the Lakers' start to the season. AD's been a great rim protector from the Lakers, and he's one of the best players to play with LeBron, and he will definitely be, I think, an All-Star starter if some of these guys maybe don't pan out on the bench. So yeah, I have AD as a starting 4 in the All-Star game. And wrapping out the West All-Star starters, I have Karl-Anthony Towns. Yep, Karl-Anthony Towns is confirmed a demigod. He is shooting 9 threes a night and hitting 44% of them. Guys, he's 6'11". He's averaging 26.5 points a night, 12.5 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 78 from the line, 51% from the field, and the Minnesota Timberwolves are 9-8 to start the season. Now, come All-Star time, they might not be above 500, but either way, I think he edges out Rudy Gobert and Nikola Yoga Ch at the moment to be the All-Star starting center for the Western Conference. So now we start the bench for the Western Conference. Now, we're going to start off with somebody that I think would have been an All-Star starter at this moment if his team had a better record, and that is Damian Lillard. The Blazers have had probably the most disappointing start to the 2019-20 season along with the Warriors, and they are 6-12 through their first 18 games. Now, Lillard did miss 2 games, but he came back against Chicago. He's averaging 27 points a night, which is a career high. He has a 53% effective field goal percentage, a career high 7.5 assists. He's been, I think, by far the best point guard in the Western Conference. Like pure point guard, if you're not counting Luka as much as a point guard yet. I do think Luka 100% deserves to be over Lillard, so I have Lillard as the quote-unquote 6th man of the Western Conference All-Star team. Now, the next player off the Western Conference bench I have is Kawhi Leonard. Now, Kawhi Leonard, I don't think is going to play enough games to be an all-star starter. He's played 12 games so far, and the Clippers are 12-5, so he has missed 5 games due to load management. But he's been nothing short of amazing this year. 26 points, 8 rebounds, 5.5 assists, which is by far a career high for him. Over 2 steals a game. He's shooting 30% from 3, which isn't great on 6 attempts a night, but he's shooting 49% from 2s. He's been a bit of a below average shooter this year, but he's still been an incredible defender when he's on the floor. Low defensive rating, high defensive box plus minus. He could be definitely a starter come all-star time, but for now, I have Harden, Luka, and LeBron over him in the starting lineup. The next player I'm going to have is Nikola Yoga Ch, one of 3 centers I have on the Western Conference All-Star team. Now, Yoga Ch hasn't had a crazy good season yet. I think he would just get voted in at the moment, but he's still having a really special season and a big part of the Nuggets' 12-3 start to the season success. Yeah, the Nuggets have the second highest winning percentage in the NBA. I feel like a lot of people aren't talking about them as much. Yoga Ch is averaging 17 points a night, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. His passing vision is incredible, and the stuff he does with the ball in his hands is just kind of mind-blowing. Over a steal a game. He isn't really shooting the ball particularly well from the field, and he still isn't a great defender. He came into the season a little bit overshaped, but I think actually it's been one of the better defensive seasons he's had in the NBA so far, and I think he's definitely deserving of one of the last all-star spots. Next player on this list is somebody that hasn't played that many games, but I just really thought there was nobody else to put but him, and that is Paul George. Now, if you don't want to put him here yet, that is fine because he's only played 6 games, but he's averaged 25 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.2 steals in those 6 games. He's shooting 42% from 3s on 10 attempts a night. He's been incredible for the Clippers so far, an effective field goal percentage of 57%. Like Kawhi, he's a big part of the Clippers' success this year. 12-5. I think if you didn't want to put him in, that is fine because he's only played 6 games at the moment, but I didn't really think there was anybody else to put over him. Maybe if you wanted to put like Lou Will or Montrezl Harrell, sure, but for me, I have Paul George. The Utah Jazz are 11-6 to start the year, and I actually have 2 Jazz making the All-Star game at the moment. The first one is Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell's had his best start to the season in his young career. 25.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, 4 assists a night, 1.3 steals a night as well, and he's shooting 38% from 3 on 6 attempts a night. He's getting to the line at a career high of 5.5 attempts a night, and he's shooting 83% from the line as well. He's been a solid defender on the perimeter like he's been, and he's probably the main reason on why the Jazz are 11-6 to start the season, and I think Donovan Mitchell will be getting his first All-Star appearance this year in his year 3. And the next player I'm going to have from the Jazz making the All-Star game is Mike Conley. Nope, I'm just kidding. It's Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is still making a case to be Defensive Player of the Year once again. In 15 games this year, Rudy Gobert is averaging 13 points, 14.1 rebounds a night, 2.1 blocks a game, 1 steal a game, an NBA low defensive rating at 96, which is good. You want the lowest defensive rating. He's top 3 in defensive box plus minus. If you watch him, he's literally such a good defender defending the pick and roll, just as a rim protector overall. And I think Rudy Gobert will get his first All-Star appearance in 2020. And the final player making the Western Conference All-Star team I have is the Phoenix Suns' own Devin Booker. Now, at the current moment, the Phoenix Suns are 8-8, and I have to give Devin Booker his first All-Star appearance, don't I? Now, I don't know what their record is going to be come February, come January, whenever the All-Star picks come out, but he's definitely deserving for it if they came out today. 25 points a night, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, 43% from 3, 51 from the field. He's been great this year for the Phoenix Suns. He's posted his lowest defensive rating so far and his lowest defensive box plus minus. He's been actually trying on defense because the Suns have been respectable this year. And I hope Rubio comes back soon, and I hope Baines gets fully healthy because I want the Suns to be contending come All-Star time so Devin Booker can make his first All-Star game. So yeah, those are my Western Conference All-Stars. Let's move over to the Eastern Conference side of things. To start it off, I have Kemba Walker of the Boston Celtics at the starting point guard position. Now, the Boston Celtics are 12-4, which is 3rd in the Eastern Conference, and Kemba Walker had a scary injury the other night. Hope he doesn't miss too much time, but in 15 games, he has been incredible for the Celtics. He hasn't been super efficient from the field, but he's been 39 from 3, which is good. But he's a 40% shooter this year, but I think that will definitely go up because he's been about 44% in his career. 21 points a night, 5 assists, 4.5 rebounds. I debated between him and Kyrie was playing good before he got hurt, but the Nets weren't that good overall-wise, but Spencer Dinwiddie has helped that out a lot. If you want to put Kyrie as the starting point guard, that's fine by me, but for me, I have Kemba Walker. Now, moving over to the shooting guard position is actually a starter that has a 5-9 record, which is the 9th seed in the Eastern Conference, and that is Bradley Beal. Now, you could put Kyrie here, but he's not a shooting guard. You could put Jimmy Butler here, but he has not played shooting guard at all this year, according to Basketball Reference. So I ended up going with Bradley Beal, who's had an incredible start to the 2019-20 season. It's actually been kind of mind-blowing. A career high 29.5 points a game, a career high 7 assists a night, 4.5 rebounds, and he's shooting 35% from 3 on 8.5 attempts. An above average effective field goal percentage, and above average true shooting percentage. Now, the Wizards aren't a great team, and he hasn't been good on defense whatsoever this season, but there's really not a better option to put at the starting shooting guard position, or starting shooting guard spot for the Eastern Conference. Moving over to small forward, I do have Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, yes, Giannis has not played any minutes, according to Basketball Reference, at small forward. It's been most at power forward or at center. But the other three guys I wanted to put in here, so I put Giannis at small forward. Giannis Antetokounmpo, in my opinion, is the MVP frontrunner at the moment. 31 points a night, 14 rebounds, 6.5 assists. The Bucks have the best record in the Eastern Conference and second best in the NBA at 14-3. And the reason I put him above Luka and Harden is because he's been a top 5 defensive player this year as well. I don't think people realize that he was a top 3 defensive player last year, and I think that's why he won MVP. And if he didn't win MVP, he was going to win Defensive Player of the Year award, but I didn't think the voters wanted to give him both awards. And I think that would be the same for him this year. I think he's been arguably the best defensive player in the NBA this year. Over a steal a game, over a block a game. He's up there in defensive box plus minus, up there in defensive win shares. He's actually leading the league in defensive win shares, and he's also leading the league in PER. If you watch him every night, he's just incredible on both ends of the floor, and he was the easiest start pick for the Eastern Conference. So for the power forward position, I have Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam might win Most Improved Player again this year, averaging 26 points, 8.5 rebounds a night. Also 4 assists, which is nice to see. He's shooting 37% from 3 on 6 attempts a night. He's been incredible on the defensive end as well. The other night against the Sixers, he had a game-winning steal or game-winning tip on a Ben Simmons pass to Tobias Harris. He's been incredible on both ends of the floor, and I think he's definitely deserving of an all-star starter this year, and this would be his first all-star game. And for the center position, it was tough. Like, you could maybe put Butler in here and then move Giannis to center, but I ended up going with Joel Embiid. Now, this is probably Embiid's worst start to the season since his rookie year. 21 points a night, 12 rebounds, 3 assists is still incredible for Embiid. He's shooting 33% from 3 on 4 attempts a night. He's still a really good rim protector, and I think he's definitely going to be an all-star starter, or at least an all-star in general. And I have him starting at the center position for the Eastern Conference. So for the first guy off the bench I have is Kyrie Irving. In 11 games this year, Kyrie Irving has been exceptional on the offensive end. He's shooting 94% from the line, 50% from twos, 34% from threes, and 44% from the field. He's posted a career high in assists at 7.2, 28.5 points a night. He's been incredible for the Nets. They weren't doing great before he got hurt, but I think he'll 100,000% make the All-Star game this year. Next player I have is Jimmy Butler. Now, Jimmy Butler hasn't been incredible on the offensive end, but his defense and, his above average offense, I think, deserves him a spot here. 19 points a night, 6.7 assists. He's leading the NBA in steals at 2.6, and he's in the top 3 in deflections per game. He's a big reason why the Miami Heat are 12-4 and second in the Eastern Conference at the moment, and I have him making the All-Star game for his first time in Miami. Now, let's keep talking about Miami. And I'm going to have a surprising pick here that I don't think a lot of people would have expected. And I have Bam Adebayo making his first All-Star game. Yes, Bam Adebayo, averaging 14 points, 10 rebounds, 4.3 assists a night, 1.6 steals, and 1.3 blocks. He's got a below 100 defensive rating, one of the best defensive box plus minuses in the NBA. And if you watch him, he can guard almost all positions on the floor, on the perimeter, in the post. It's just, he's an incredible defensive player. And you know what? I think he's been underrated this year. I'm putting Bam in my All-Star game. Let's stay on the topic with big men. The next guy I have making the Eastern Conference All-Star team is Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond is averaging 18 and 17 this year. Yep, 18 points a game and 17 rebounds a night, while being up there in blocks a game and steals a game combined, 1.6 steals a game, 1.8 blocks a game. Obviously, he's not a good three-point shooter. He's taken 10. He hasn't hit any of them. But he's been an efficient player, and I wasn't going to put him in the starters because Detroit hasn't been that good to start the season, and he's going to be my lone Piston. So yeah, I don't have Blake Griffin making this. Spoiler alert, but I do have Andre Drummond making it. So it's tough for the final 3 spots. There's going to be 2 players that I'm going to leave out, unfortunately, that you could definitely throw in here. But the first guy I'm going to mention is Kyle Lowry. Now, Kyle Lowry got that thumb injury. He's still out for a couple more games, but he was playing incredible before before he got hurt. In his first 8 games, he was averaging 22 points a night, 6.5 assists, 4.3 rebounds, shooting 43% from 3 on 8.5 attempts a night. The Raptors were playing well. They still are without him, but I think Kyle Lowry, he's been playing incredible this year. He made the All-Star game last year, and I think he was actually playing a little bit worse to start the year. So I think Kyle Lowry is going to take one of the Eastern Conference reserve spots this year. 2 more players to go. The first one we are going to talk about is Trey Young. Yep, another sophomore. I know the Hawks haven't been good this year. They started off 4-13. But Trey Young has been incredible. Man, I wanted to put him in the All-Star game. 27 points a night. 8.7 assists, over a steal a game, 4.5 rebounds. He's shooting 36 from threes on 8.5 attempts a night, and he's shooting 43% from the field on 20 attempts a night. He might be arguably the best passer in the NBA. Obviously, it's like him, Luka, and LeBron, but he's up there already in his sophomore year. I know the Hawks are bad, but I had to put Trey in. He's been incredible this year, and I think he's been a lot better than some other guys that you could have considered. So yeah, I have Trey Young making his first All-Star game, joining Pascal Siakam and Bam Adebayo in that. So the final player I had, I could have chose between 3 players. One was Ben Simmons. I didn't choose him. The other was Malcolm Brogdon. I was leaning towards him, but I didn't end up going with Brogdon. The player I went with was Eric Bledsoe. Now, I know a lot of people like to hate on Bledsoe because he doesn't play well in the playoffs, at least for Milwaukee. But the Bucks are 14-3 this year, and Eric Bledsoe has actually been really good for them. He's an effective field goal percentage of 51%, which is about average, but he's averaging 17 points a night, 5.5 assists, 5.5 rebounds, and he's been a really good defensive player to them. And I wanted to put him in. Now, if you wanted to put Malcolm Brogdon over him, that is perfectly fine by me. But with like no Kevin Durant this year, no Oladipo so far, it was pretty hard to figure out that last spot. Ben Simmons has struggled, so has Tobias Harris. I didn't end up going with Tatum or Jaylen Brown. If you even want to consider Spencer Dinwiddie, that's fine by me, or Nikola Vucevic. Blake Griffin as well, but I ended up going with Eric Bledsoe. So yeah, those are my all-star picks. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments what you disagree with, because I know you guys are going to disagree with some, so let me know what you guys would have changed in the comments below. Also, give me your all-star starters as well. I'm curious to see what you guys would have went with. So yeah, this is just my personal opinion, and it's only been about 14 to 16 games per team so far, and some of these players haven't even played more than 8 yet. So like I said, these are a little bit too early all-star picks. I'm going to do another one of these a little bit before the all-star game. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If we can hit over 800 likes, I would really appreciate that. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Redraft tomorrow. Peace.